Hello everyone, Paul Elam here with another installment from A Voice for Men. In fact, I'm here today with what I think is the most important installment that I've ever done, or likely ever will do. Let me explain a little more first before I get to some really good news. Now, most of my subscribers already know what a sham and a joke that the so-called women's studies and gender studies programs are in higher education. They are simply feminist organizations run by ideologues in order to gain more power at the expense of men and boys. They're the ones behind all the false wage gap studies, the bogus domestic violence stats, the disinformation about the incidence of rape, and most every other feminist lie you can think of. You know, the media doesn't just pull all the phony feminist claims out of thin air. The disinformation is fed to them directly from women's studies programs and women's studies academicians who have a feminist political agenda, and then the media simply regurgitates the lies right back to the general public, citing scholarly sources. It's pretty much the same for politicians who care even less about accuracy than the mainstream media does. They get their information about domestic abuse and other factors with university-level credibility from the same sources as the media, and it leads to laws like VAWA and to police training that will land you in jail if you defend yourself from a woman's attack or even call the police for help when being assaulted by a woman. And a large part of why they do this is because there's no organized effort in academia to tell them anything else. For more than 30 years, these lunatics have been in control of all the so-called gender information that ultimately results in our laws and our popular beliefs about the sexes. They have had a stranglehold on what we're told, which is why you have to come to places like YouTube and listen to people like me, Bernard Chapin, Argus Eyes, and others to get anywhere near the truth. But I'm happy, actually friggin' elated to tell you that today we have a very real possibility that the truth being held hostage by a bunch of feminist hate mongers could be coming to an end in the halls of higher education. And I'm here to ask as emphatically as I can that you help make it happen. On April 7th of this year, the OnStep Institute will be hosting a symposium of renowned scholars to establish the presence of male studies, an entirely new academic discipline designed to address the declining condition of men and boys in modern culture. And most importantly, that discipline will also focus on misandry, the hatred of men and masculinity, and how it damages both men and women. It is, in my mind, the first major return volley in a war that was waged against men and boys starting in the late 1960s. And let me be clear, I have talked extensively with the men of the OnStep Institute, and they are the real deal. In fact, OnStep Institute's founder, Dr. Ed Stevens, and its research director, Dick Elfenbein, have both accepted seats on Men's News Daily's editorial board. Now, the success of their efforts would mean literally the most significant advance in men's rights since gender feminism raised its ugly head. And while I think scare tactics are a cheap shot, I think it's also honest to say that if they fail, it could possibly be another 40 years before we see a chance like this again. You can help stop that from happening. If you have a computer and an internet connection, there's a lot you can do. Please see the two links in the sidebar. The first one is linked to an article I wrote about this subject a while back. At the end of that article are animated internet banners of different sizes and the embed codes to go with them. If you have a blog of any kind, please go there and grab one or two and allow them to run on your blog until the day of the conference. If you don't have a blog but know someone who does, please ask them to help. And if you have a men's rights blog, you should be on your way right now to get those banners and get them running. If you don't have a blog and don't know anyone who does, you can still make a difference. Please rate this video, favorite it, feature it, send it to as many friends as you can. Download and mirror it. Post it to Reddit, to other internet forums, or to anywhere else you can get the word out. The second link is where you can go to register to see the conference online for yourself. It's just $15 and the money will go directly to this valuable cause. Oh, and by the way, if you're watching this video somewhere other than YouTube, please double click on it so you can get to the links in the sidebar. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section and I will get to them. You can also email me at paul@mensnewsdaily.com or send me a PM here. If you have any ideas at all for getting the conference more exposure, please get a hold of me. Many of you have watched my video series on defeating feminism. In it, I pointed out what has been happening for the past couple of years with advances in the men's movement. I pointed to the exponential increase in online activity related to men's rights. I also noted the recent court decisions in California and West Virginia that struck meaningful blows at the corrupt domestic violence industry. I also predicted that much more would be happening in the near future. Well, that future is literally rushing at us right now. I urge you to be an active part of it. Everyone knows that times are tough right now, so it won't be within everyone's means to offer financial help. Some are so strapped in this economy that even the $15 for the online conference is out of the question. But if you're willing to put just a couple of hours of effort this week into passing the banners and videos around, into posting the links to the articles in as many places as possible, you can do more than your share to contribute to this cause. Like I said, guys, our time is coming. Let's do this one right, and let's do it together. Thank you for listening, and as always, see you next time.